Hello, hello, and welcome to the Fairy Coach Tarot channel. We have our weekly pick a deck for the energies of the week, and we're going to be looking at this first week of March 2026 today. And we have on Tuesday a full moon, so we're going to be most of the week with a full time full moon energy. So anyway, let's get started. All right. So please. Roll back your shoulders, relax, and we're going to connect through the breath, right? As always, you get to pick out one of these decks or the fairy that calls more on you. And then we're going to look at the energies of the beginning of the week, the middle of the week, and the end of the week. All right, ready? Let's connect with the breath. Take a deep breath in through the nose. Hold it for a few seconds. And exhale, making that exhale a bit longer than the inhale. All right. Roll those shoulders back again. Relax your jaw, and let's take another deep breath in. Hold and let go of the air, making that exhale longer. Okay, now what deck or fairy calls you more and resonates with you at this time? Okay, let's begin with the pink fairy. All right, as I mentioned, this is for the first week of March 2026, and we are walking into full moon energy. And we're going to take a look at the beginning of the week, the middle of the week, and the end of the week. So let's see, we have beginning of the week, and two wanted to come out for the middle of the week, and then the end of the week. All right. So let's see how the week begins with you. And we have the energy of the major arcana 15, that's the devil. Again, please don't be scared about this card. It's not bad omen or anything like this. This card is telling us that we need to be careful with how we are getting what we are getting attached to, right? Or what we are getting dependent on. So when in this general reading, and we're looking at the beginning of the week, so we have that full moon on Tuesday. So on Monday, we're already under that full moon energy, because that full moon energy usually starts like around 2 or 3 days before the full moon and goes on for 2 or 3 days after the full moon. So the full moon is an amplifier, right? Amplifies emotions, amplifies behaviors. So everything gets amplified. Excuse me. So if you are very grounded, very calm, um, very at peace with yourself, if things in your life seem that peaceful, the full moon will amplify that. But if you are upset, angry, sad, or any emotion that is completely valid but tends to vibrate at a lower rate, the full moon energy amplifies that. So here, when we get the devil that comes out at the beginning of the week, so with that full moon energy being very strong, what it's telling us is exactly that: to mine and to be very aware of our emotions, our behaviors, how we respond or react to things, right? And to be focusing mostly on achieving that inner peace, to be at peace with ourselves, with others, and also to watch out with our behaviors, make sure they are healthy. So mostly is for you to really be aware at the beginning of this week, not that any emotion or any behavior, anything will be amplified. Therefore, having that awareness and practicing techniques that keep you at peace, making sure you do not engage with people that usually trigger you or things of that nature. So, the beginning of the week, that it's full moon energy to the max, that you do not get triggered in ways that make you react or do things or say things that you may regret later on. So again, we do need to understand that all emotions or whatever you're going through is valid. But when we're looking from the perspective of that full moon energy that amplifies anything, is saying make sure at this time you focus on grounding, on being at peace, the more um, you can be, right? So nothing gets out of alignment. Now let's look at the middle of the week, and here, if this would be Monday and Tuesday, we're looking already at Wednesday and Thursday, and this is still, we're still under very strong full moon energy. However, it's already moving. And here you're getting all major arcana cards. And here we have Justice and the Star. So this, after having moved from that devil energy, here what it's saying is, you know what, if you're able to be watchful about those energies at the beginning of the week, then what you will experience as the week goes on will be a response of that first energy, right? And so the Justice card sometimes can be seen as a way to be in balance, but also it's a reminder to be just and to be fair in all your dealings, right? So this is, again, you have full moon energy and you have major arcana cards coming in at full speed. So it's a time to mind your inner state. And here it's what it's telling you more. It's not only here the inner state, but also what you give out to others. So to be fair, to be just in all your dealings, because that energy, those things that we put out there are going to come back, right? And it's also a reminder of, hey, if you're just, if you're doing things from love, from that heart chakra that leads us into love, into fairness, into goodness, you will be guided into into good things coming into your life, in things that can manifest. You will be at peace with yourself. So so we have very strong energies because of the full moon, and the cards reflect that. So here at the beginning of the week, it's more about managing your inner state, and moving through the middle of the week is managing your outer state, what you give out to the world and to others, right? And then if you've been able to do all of this, then we're moving to the weekend, where that full moon energy is already changing, right? It's beginning to wane, to go down. And there we find the Nine of Cups. And the Nine of Cups is telling you, it's cups emotions, right? So it's saying it has been a week of emotional intensity. And from what I see, it sounds like it's going to be a week of emotional intensity. So here he's saying, take the weekend to celebrate in the way, whatever way that is for you, but to relax, to understand to that it has been a very emotional demanding week, and celebrate any successes in the sense of like if you've been able to stay calm, grounded, not to get into arguments, dealing with people good, be focused on your spiritual path, things like this. The weekend comes and it's saying, it's time to relax. It's also the energy of a nine. So it's the end of this emotional, um, intense week. So time to let go, to relax, to do anything you find it's a way to celebrate any wins. So I hope you enjoyed your reading. If you did, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. Again, this is a collective reading, right? So if you want us to look more in depth to your personal situation, you can reach out for more information or go into my website or my storefront to either get a live one-on-one reading with me or buy a pre-recorded reading. You have a very interesting week with a lot of emotional intensity, but that it seems to say it's gonna end up all in good ways. Remember, beginning of the week, it's about your inner state, middle of the week, how you react to others, and the weekend, it's a time to relax and celebrate and understand that it has been an emotionally intense week. All right, let's look at the blue fairy for those who have picked this one. All right, so once again, we're going to look at the beginning of the week, middle of the week, and the end of the week. All right, always saying a little prayer to get us all settled. And we have beginning of the week that we get two cards for that energy. Right? And two cards right here. All right. So let's see what are the energies that we start the week with. All right, all right, all right, all right. And we get the 10 and the 6. So here, so this is the beginning of the week for you that starts, as you can see, with how do we put this? It is a beginning that says, you know what, it's an energy that has me up in the air. So it may be a beginning of the week where you don't see a lot of clarity, that you feel that things are up in the air, where, you know, it feels like there is a lot to think about, a lot to get clarity on. And it says, you know what, the advice here in order to get that clarity is, to just be good to yourself, to practice self-care, not to stay in your head too much, right? So this is air, this is intellect, and a lot of thoughts and words that want to come out, but it's saying, you know what, in order to manage that with this full moon energy we have, it's all about self-care, about being around people that you care about, doing things that you love. So in essence, to be very gentle with yourself and not to stay stuck in your head. So the main points here for the beginning of the week is don't stay in your head too much. If there are things up in the air, it's okay. It's time to do things you enjoy, to be with people you enjoy, and to be very gentle with yourself. All right? And from there, we move into the High Priestess. And this is the perfect full moon card because as we're moving on to Wednesday and Thursday, yes, with that full moon energy, intuition gets heightened too, So this High Priestess is just saying it's time for you to really pay attention to any messages, any not just from your intuition that come out, right? So connecting with that is very important. It's is always important, but as I mentioned, that full moon energy amplifies everything. So this week, I would suggest to write things down in, like, if you have a dream diary, or even any signs or things that you notice, patterns in nature, messages that you get from people, anything that just strikes a chord inside of you, just to note it down. Because sometimes we get these messages from our spirit guides or from our intuition, and at the beginning, they they seem like a message, but we do not understand really what they are trying to say. But when we write it down and we go back, everything makes sense. So this would be my advice for you towards the middle of the week. And now let's look at the weekend. And the weekend comes with an energy of force and also justice. Okay, so here it seems that as the week progresses, things have more of an order, right? And it's saying, emotions may be feeling more settled. Now, even if things start to feel more settled, um, be be mindful of any opportunities that you may be passing up, you see, or any things that this intuition has brought to your attention and you have not been paying attention to it, right? So towards the weekend, it's saying, hey, things are getting more settled, but look back at the signs that you got from your intuition, because maybe you're passing up opportunities or things that you should be paying attention to right now. And again, we get the justice card, but when it's in this following up, these four is just saying, you know what, you may regret not looking back or paying attention to things that you should be paying attention to. All right, because remember, the justice card is telling you to be fair or to be balanced in things, but also that everything comes back to us. So not only in a way of karma, but in that energy that we bring back to ourselves. So let's recap really fast. Beginning of the week, things may seem that they are up in the air. You may be a lot in your head. It's okay. Be gentle with yourself. Be with people that you love. Give yourself comfort and let things pass. It's not about gaining clarity, it's understanding that, we have that full moon energy, and the beginning of the week is just about being gentle with yourself. The middle of the week, paying a lot of attention to our intuition. It will be heightened, it will be very strong, and writing things down would be very important. Also in dreams. And towards the weekend, look back at all these signs. There is something that you may be passing up or something that you're not paying attention to that's important. And if you don't, you may regret it. All right, I hope you enjoyed your reading. Once again, if you did, give me a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and reach out for a private reading, either pre-recorded or live with me. Remember, I accompany you with the tarot and with coaching sessions on whatever is going on in your life right now. Okay, let's take a look now at the yellow fairy. Okay. For those of you who have picked the yellow fairy. All right, let's look at the yellow fairy. So we'll say a little prayer and we'll ask the cards. We'll look at the beginning of the week, middle of the week, and end of the week. All right, 2 cards here. Over here. And one last one. All right, so let's look at whatever cards we got for the beginning of the week. And the energies come from the Five of Pentacles and the Eight of Swords. All right. So, the beginning of this week with this full moon energy starts with us. Perhaps there is the sense in the air that something's not going right. We're not fully feeling confident about the future. There may be some fears, but the cards are reminding you all this is in your head. So, any fear, any self doubt, any feelings of not feeling hopeful about things, this is all your thoughts, is reminding you these feelings are not rooted in reality. It could be the energy that's in the air. It could be that you may be exhausted about how things have been going. So it's saying, you know what, please do not stay in here, that it is this not feeling hopeful, I would say. It's all in your thoughts. And right now, do not let these thoughts imprison you. All right? It's only thoughts, it's only a momentary or a feeling that is based on this period, on this time, and it will pass. Okay, so the main essence of this message is things will pass. And the main advice is do not stay in your thoughts, do not let them cage you. All right, this hopelessness feeling or any feeling that brings you down is all thought based. And for the middle of the week, and as we are moving on with this full moon energy, we get another seven. All right. And it's a seven of pentacles. So we move from this energy of a five to an energy of the seven. So around the middle of the week, feeling more hopeful. And this card is saying when you look back into your life, into even these past days, what are things that you could be grateful for? What are things that you could celebrate about your life? Or things even that are hopes that you are looking for in the future. So, this is a card about optimism, right? Also, looking back to celebrate things from the past and to be grateful, but a card of optimism. So, we are moving from that energy of the five of like not feeling really good or like focusing on things that are negative, with the advice of not staying in your thoughts because it's all thought energy that cages in, to moving to a more hopeful energy. And it's saying, in order to achieve that, what are some things you're grateful for in the past? What are some hopes for the future that you have? Focus on positive things, and we will change these negative thought patterns. And towards the weekend, we move to the Knight of Swords, right? And the Knight of Swords is this knight that tells us when we are able to manage our thoughts and choose them wisely. Like I read one time, it's like you can choose your thoughts as if you were choosing the clothes to wear today, right? So when there is a negative thought that doesn't serve you, that it's not rooted on facts, that it just you going down a rabbit hole of negative thinking. When you are able to learn how to manage these thoughts, you understand that you are empowered because you will be able to handle your life. You have the ability to handle any difficulties that come. And a lot starts by managing your thoughts. So let's recap and put it all together. The beginning of the week begins with feelings of doubt, of not feeling hopeful, of just being down in the dumps, or with this energy that if we are not mindful of these thoughts that cripple in, we can go down into the rabbit hole of these negative thoughts that imprison us, right? So it's saying be mindful of any thought patterns that do not take us the wrong way. Any feelings of hopelessness, it's all mind based. And towards the middle of the week, focus on gratitude, focus on hope, change that, right? And the sky, everything will look brighter to you. All right. So the entire energy changes. And the weekend is saying, and here on the week, in the weekend, you're going to see that by having done all this, you're going to realize that a lot of things, the reality we create it with our thoughts. We can either imprison ourselves or we can live in hope. But a lot is based on managing our thoughts. So this weekend, work on learning how to manage your thoughts, right? And knowing that you have the ability and the capacity to rule your life and to go forward just like this night. But it all starts with clear thinking and realizing how powerful thoughts are. All right, I hope you enjoyed your reading. Give me a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and again, to look at your personal situation, please visit my website, my storefront at Gumroad, and I have daily videos here at YouTube and my other social media channels for the energies, the main energies of the day. Now, these videos and all my daily shorts are the collective reading, right? So if you want to go more in depth, please reach out. I have something for every budget. And if you want more information about how I come with you, like I accompany you on your journey or whatever you're going through with tarot and also coaching. Please do not hesitate to write, and I'll give you more information about all my services. Have a wonderful rest of your week. Enjoy that full moon energy, and also remember the full moon just amplifies what we carry inside. So it's very important to manage our thoughts and those emotions. All right, bye bye.